Hello everyone, so we're on a bit of a history kick at the moment. Today we're going to be reacting to the history of the tomb of the unknown soldier. I really want to go to Washington DC, and I actually really would like to see this. It's not in Washington, is it? It's in Virginia. Well, anyway, I really want to go to Arlington, and I very much want to go see the tomb of the unknown soldier. There's a lot of importance there for me. So we're going to be reacting to this. I unfortunately and very ignorantly don't know too much or very little completely about the history of the tomb of the unknown soldier. I know that the Sentinels guard it 24/7 through all weather, through all holidays. That I know, and I've seen videos of the Sentinels, the changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier, so I've seen that. But I don't know not even a single shred of its history. So today is this is a learning video. I'm going to be learning a bunch. It's a 14-minute video, so I'm really looking forward to learning absolutely everything there is to know. Like I said, with my move pending to the United States, very quickly incoming, I want to learn as much about its history as possible. I actually know a fair bit about American history, especially when it comes to Western expansionism. But interestingly enough, this is something that I've never really taken time to learn. So this will be very interesting. If there's any good books I can read about this, leave them down in the comments if you know of any, or any other videos relating to this video, let me know. Before we get to it, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Hit the notification bell if you want to see my content pop up. I might very well also put a super like button at the bottom, which helps you donate to my channel, seeing as a lot of my videos won't be monetized due to YouTube's strict copyright infringement rules, saying that the money will not only go to me. Between 15 and 30%, depending on donations, will go to the American Red Cross Foundation or Association. It will go to the American Red Cross. You can donate online, and I will post a video at the end of this 28-day period, starting from today. I will post a video once a month showing that 15 to 30% of donations will go. Actually, let's make it an even 20. And even 20% of donations of everything that you donate to this channel will go this month to the American Red Cross. I will put a poll at some point during this month that after this 28-day period, you can see, you guys can choose which American charity the money will go to. Thank you very much. If you do choose to support this channel and support the American Red Cross, God bless you, and thank you very much for keeping us afloat. You've probably skipped past this bit anyway. Let's just get to the video. I'm very much looking forward to it. Let's get to it. Lionheart, St. George's Cross. That's interesting. Story of the unknown soldier.
Not every soldier is recognized for his heroic actions. Indeed, one of the countless tragedies of war is that the bodies of many soldiers are never even identified.
Yeah.
On August 3rd, 1956, 3 years after the end of the Korean War, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a bill to select and pay tribute to the unknown soldiers of the Korean War and World War II.
Good man.
These soldiers would be buried in the Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery. The Tomb of the Unknowns was created in response to the mass casualties of World War I. The idea of honoring the unknown dead, of which there were so many in World War I, began in Great Britain in 1920.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Then, in March 1921, the U.S. Congress approved a plan to return the body of an unknown American soldier from the war and bury him with full honors in a tomb to be constructed at the Memorial Amphitheater in Arlington National Cemetery.
Wow.
On Memorial Day, 1921, 4 unknown soldiers were exhumed from 4 World War I American cemeteries in France. They were placed in 4 identical caskets and set before a highly decorated veteran of that war, U.S. Army Sergeant Edward F. Younger. Sergeant Younger ceremonially selected one casket. He later spoke of his decision.
I was left alone in the chapel. There were 4 coffins, all unmarked and unnamed. The one that I placed the roses on would be the one brought home and placed in the National Shrine. I walked around the coffins 3 times. Then suddenly I stopped. What caused me to stop, I don't know. It was as though something had pulled me. I placed the roses on the coffin in front of me. I can still remember the odd feeling that I had, standing there alone.
The chosen unknown was transported to the United States aboard the USS Olympia. Those remaining were interred in the Meuse-Argonne Cemetery, France.
I'd like to go there.
The selected unknown lay in state at the Capitol Rotunda until midnight on November 10th, 1921. On November 11th, Armistice Day, the casket of that unknown soldier was carried from the Rotunda to Arlington National Cemetery under a military escort.
Wow.
Behind the caisson bearing the flag-draped casket walked President Harding, Vice President Coolidge, Chief Justice Taft, and the other justices of the Supreme Court.
Wow.
Members of the Cabinet, Senate, and House of Representatives, generals and other distinguished officers from America's wars, and recipients of the Medal of Honor. President Harding officiated at the interment ceremonies at the Memorial Amphitheater at Arlington National Cemetery. He conferred upon the unknown soldier the Medal of Honor and the Distinguished Service Cross.
Wow.
Representatives of foreign governments allied with the U.S. in World War I participated as well, bestowing upon the unknown their own highest military awards.
So the Victoria Cross.
The United States reciprocated this gesture, honoring an unknown soldier from nations of France, Great Britain, Belgium, Italy, and Romania with the Medal of Honor.
Wow, that's amazing.
In the history of the Medal of Honor,
Not
these
Australia,
are the
no.
only 5 instances in which the award was presented to a foreign soldier. After World War II, plans were made for the selection and burial of an unknown from that war. But fighting in Korea broke out before the selection process had begun, and the decision was made to postpone until a more appropriate time.
Yeah.
That time turned out to be 1958, when unknowns from World War II and the Korean War were selected for burial in the Tomb of the Unknowns.
Wow.
The final selection of the unknown from the Korean War took place on May 15th, 1958. All of the unknown war dead from that war had been buried in the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. In that place, 4 candidates for burial in the Tomb of the Unknowns were placed in identical caskets draped with American flags. Master Sergeant Ned Lyle, a recipient of the Distinguished Service Cross for heroic action in Korea, was designated to make the final selection. He placed a wreath of blue and white carnations on one casket and saluted the remains of the soldier inside. The selection of the World War II unknown took place 11 days later aboard the USS Canberra.
Wow, aboard the ship.
Earlier stages of the selection process had resulted in 1 remaining candidate from the European Theater of Operations and 1 candidate from the Pacific Theater.
Pacific. Okay.
Hospital Corpsman First Class William R. Charette, recipient of the Medal of Honor for actions in the Korean War, made the final selection.
Wow. What a responsibility to bear.
The selected unknown, along with the unknown from the Korean War, arrived in Washington on May 28, 1958. They lay in state in the Capitol Rotunda until 1 p.m. on May 30th. As the procession moved toward Arlington National Cemetery, the 2 caissons, each carrying 1 unknown, traveled side by side. When they reached the cemetery, they shifted into a column led by the caisson bearing the World War II unknown soldier. As the caissons entered the cemetery, 20 jet fighters and bombers passed overhead, with one plane missing from each formation.
Oh, wow. They do that now, you
The
know.
casket of the World
War.
War II unknown soldier was placed in front of President Eisenhower, and the Korean War unknown soldier in front of Vice President Nixon.
Jeez.
The Marine Band played the national anthem, and then a bugler sounded attention 3 times. After a long moment of silence, President Eisenhower placed a Medal of Honor on each casket.
Incredible.
The unknowns of World War II and the Korean War were interred in the plaza beside their World War I comrade. The tomb sarcophagus was placed above the grave of the unknown soldier of World War I in April 1931. The sarcophagus is constructed of 7 rectangular pieces of white marble, together weighing 79 tons.
Jeez.
On the west panel of the sarcophagus, facing the amphitheater, are the words, "Here rests, in honored glory, an American soldier, known but to God."
Known but to God.
On the east panel, facing the Capitol, 3 Greek figures have been sculpted.
Wow.
On the left stands Peace, holding a dove in one hand. On the right stands Valor, bearing a broken sword in his hands.
Is the center, is it glory?
In the center stands Victory,
Victory.
holding hands with Peace while extending an olive branch to Valor.
Wow.
The north and south panels present a total of 6 inverted wreaths, each representing a major campaign of World War I. West of the sarcophagus are the crypts of unknowns from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Those 3 graves are marked with white marble slabs that lie flush with the plaza.
Wow. I didn't know. I thought they were all inside.
Since April 6, 1948, the tomb of the unknown soldier has been guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, regardless of weather. In blazing sun, freezing snow, and even in the face of hurricanes, the Sentinels continue their watch. The Sentinels, members of the 3rd Infantry,
Good men.
or Old Guard, are famous for the precision of their march and changing of the guard.
Incredible.
The Sentinel marches 21 steps across a black mat, past the crypts of each unknown.
Why 21?
He then makes a crisp 90-degree turn to face east for 21 seconds. He then makes another 90-degree turn, facing north for 21 seconds. A crisp shoulder arms movement places the rifle on the shoulder nearest the visitors to signify that the Sentinel stands between the tomb and any threat.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
After that moment, the Sentinel paces 21 steps north, turns, and repeats the process.
Wow. Incredible.
Every
So
hour during the
precise.
winter and every half hour during summer daylight hours, the Sentinels conduct the changing of the guard ceremony. As the new Sentinel approaches the relief commander, slowly and with great precision,
It's quite
conducts a
frequent.
white glove inspection of the Sentinel's weapon. The 2 then march to the center of the mat, where the active Sentinel stops his walk, and all 3 men salute the tomb. The relief commander instructs the active Sentinel, "Pass on your orders." The Sentinel replies, "Post and orders remain as directed." The relieving Sentinel responds, "Orders acknowledged."
What is acknowledged? Okay.
The relieving Sentinel then steps into position at the center of the black mat. The relief commander and relieved Sentinel exit, and the new Sentinel begins his march. The unknown soldiers serve to remind us that not all actions of valor are witnessed and recorded in war.
Yeah.
We do not know the stories of these men, but we know They gave their lives in a war they did not start to protect the freedom of people who would never know their names.
Yeah.
They demonstrate the courage and heroism of every man and woman who goes into combat in service of their nation.
They do.
They will face threats we can hardly imagine
Look at those scenes. Look
in an
at that.
attempt to eliminate the dangers that are posed to the men in the trench beside them.
Incredible. There isn't really too much commentary I can really give on that. I mean, the video speaks for itself. It's a historical video, and the story itself is very touching and moving. So, in fact, I'm quite naive because I haven't been there. So when you look at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, I normally just see the initial crypt. I haven't actually had a chance to look down at the ground, but it did show it in this video. So I assumed that I thought it was genuinely just one unknown soldier that was buried there, but in fact it's not. So obviously on the floor there you have on the ground, in the ground there, under marble slabs, you've got the Second World War, Korea and Vietnam, and I'm really happy that there is a Korean war hero buried there, purely because I know unfortunately the conflict in Korea is known as America's Forgotten War. It's actually interesting because it's not. It wasn't just an American war; it was a UN war, and I actually know there's a very. So obviously there was Brits there as well. There's actually a very interesting story. I think it's called. I can't remember exactly, but there was a battalion of Greek soldiers who fought in Korea, and they did an interview with a lot of American troops, Marines, who fought side by side with them, who said that they were some of the best troops they'd ever fought against. And that's a very interesting story. If you guys want to check out a piece of history, a piece of Greek history, which is very interesting, you should have a look at the how the Greeks repelled the Italian invasion of Greece during the winter of, was it 41? Or 40 or 41. Very interesting. Something very reminiscent of American heroism. But it was, many presidents have actually compared it's called Oki Day, have actually compared that to the roots of American heroism also. That's off tangent. That's going on a tangent. Don't quote me on that. I'll do some research and come back to you at a later date. Yeah, I mean, that was a really incredible story. I think one of the saddest things about war itself is not solely the death, but also, of course, if you lose a loved one in a conflict, you very much most of the time at least get the closure of knowing their fate, and being able to grieve and such, but not knowing what happened to your loved one or somebody in that conflict, and then essentially going missing. They've passed away, but you don't know where they are, etc., etc. And I'm assuming, I know it must be extremely heartbreaking, confusing, and you must be extremely distraught. You just don't know. You don't have the opportunity to have closure, to have a burial. And that's heartbreaking, that really is. I can never really think of something that can come as close to that kind of heartbreak in real life, So, guys, I want to, in light of the honouring of heroes, I'd like to say thank you to all service members, past, present and future, men, women, airmen, marines, soldiers, naval officers, sailors, everyone, Coast Guard, absolutely everyone. Thank you for your service and your future service and everything you've done. And to the families of those who have unfortunately passed away because of conflict, God bless you, and I wish you all the best and God's grace. So guys, thank you so much. That was a really incredible video. Thank you for your recommendation. Keep them coming, because I really like these kinds of historical videos. It's actually teaching me more about American culture and history, and I need to know that for my move. Please refer back to the beginning of the video with regards to the American Cross, the American Red Cross, which is a charity that I will be donating to with any proceeds that I gain from this video and from your guys' donations. So that is something I really, really appreciate. And guys, subscribe to the channel, like it, leave a comment, anything you want to do that helps feed the algorithm and helps the channel grow and gets you more videos, gets you viewing more videos, because I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. I'm looking forward to it. See you later, guys.